Oh, right. Would be cool if Nintendo made a Game Boy Classic or something. They probably won't now. It's probably long since gone past that point. They'll just work on emulation and stuff. I've not got it up with me. There are people in the fan communities. There are people who are making Game Boys out of Raspberry Pis, Pi Picos, which I must admit look really good. What was I doing? Oh, Swift Violets! Blimey, that's 5 minutes ago. Right, okay, so for future Googles, Lufto's Bog. That has a different connotation in English, but whatever. Sorry, in UK, but we'll go with that. There we go, we will go to Lufto's Bog. Bog. Funny word. Bog. Right. I mean, in terms of Nintendo consoles, what I really, really wish I'd have seen, and I suppose it's going to be the Switch 2 now, but I would have loved a Pro upgrade to the Switch. The OLED, actually no, I will die on this hill. The OLED is one of the stupidest ideas of a console. Basically, here's the Switch with its same hardware, but we're going to give her a better screen, which puts more of a strain on the processor. Useless. Look, excuse me. You've got a Switch. The Switch is selling fantastically. The Switch is printing money in similar volumes to the Wii. The original Wii. Just retool it. If you're going to fit an OLED to it, fine. Give it a processor upgrade. Give it a RAM upgrade. Give it a system upgrade. Release it as the Switch Pro. And there you go. Because then you can run stuff like Tears of the Kingdom. This game runs, I maintain, for all the criticism I throw at this game, it runs. When you look at it, when you look at what it's doing, it has loaded in 3 entire levels. Well, okay, no, 2. I'll go 2. Because I have encountered loading times going into the depths. So whatever wizardry, whatever black magic they have worked to get such a seamless transition between the surface and depths, fantastic. Fantastic, Nintendo. I've noticed a loading time at least once going between the surface and depths, but the sky, you have the entire sky and the entirety of Hyrule. There's no loading screens, there's no loading times. The only time you load is when you're fast traveling somewhere. But that on the Switch hardware is amazing. This game runs stable. It runs fantastically stable, especially in a day of age where most games have some sort of catastrophic crashing problem. But the sky's empty. The sky is empty, but you've still got all of you've got the artifacts drawn in. There are some areas where you have massive frame rate drop. In Breath of the Wild, it was Korok Forest. This time, it's not Korok Forest because I think they've learned their lesson and they've limited the amount of Koroks bouncing in and out of the grass. But, hey, there's the Temple of Time. Sorry. In this game, it's Kakaraku Village, and I'm pretty sure those ring ruins are the cause of Kakaraku Village's frame rate issues. I hate going to Kakaraku in this game. But at the same time, it's not a bad-looking game. There isn't particularly bad popping, for example. If the Switch had just a bit more oomph in the processor, I think it would have been fine. Also, I think the fan on my Switch is starting to wear out, considering I keep hearing it spin up in the background. But still, like I said, the OLED, I agree with the OLED, it was a stupid idea. I know, that's it. The OLED was a stupid idea. They could have upgraded the Switch. Upgraded the processor or something. The good thing is that since the Switch came out, we've got the Steam Deck. This is competition for Nintendo, because this is a brilliant handheld system. I know it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it's brilliant. This is what Valve have been working on with the Steam boxes, with the Steam controls, with the Steam Link. It's all come together to form the Steam Deck. This is going to put Nintendo in a tough spot, because it's a case then of they either have to step up with the Switch 2, or they get left behind. And that's good. Competition in that aspect is good. I don't agree with a lot of Nintendo's business practices. I don't agree what they do with content creators. I don't particularly agree what they do with... actually, I'm going to kill some Gloom Hands. Oh, no, hold on. Never mind, we're not touching the Gloom Hands. I've just lost the Master Sword. We'll do that later. I don't agree with some of the business practices. I certainly don't agree with the whole... here is online cloud, but here is the only way to back up your games. It's online cloud, and you need to pay us a subscription for it. You've got an SD card slot in the console. Just let us back up to our own SD cards. It's not that difficult, but no, you want to earn a bit more money. I find actually what they do to content creators and the fan community is a bit more egregious. They're very tight-fisted when it comes to their IPs, and I can understand why they are, but at the same time, there are a lot of people out there who make things and passion projects out of love. I think now somebody might have to correct me on this because I'm not that massive of a Sega fan. Okay, I'm a massive Yakuza fan, but I'm not that much of a Sega fan. So I don't know if Sega are in the camp of they are fully supportive of fan projects. They strike me as being fully supportive of fan projects, but Nintendo very much don't seem to be in favour of fan projects. Oh god. Oh. Also, can I just say, Octoroks are just abysmal, and I hate the Blight. Greed is why Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft are the way they are. Yeah. Well... Yeah. The thing is, one curiosity, while I'm on the point of Nintendo, that's always niggled at me, is I want to know, when you see all of this stuff with them targeting people on YouTube and fan creators, is that coming from Nintendo of America or Nintendo of Japan? Because if it's from Nintendo of Japan, it can very much be a cultural sort of thing. If it's Nintendo of America, then I think it is just greed. Japan. In that case, I can... Yeah, okay. I can kind of see where that's happening then. Don't agree with it in any way, shape or form, but I can also see the cultural side of things. So, it's to do with the copyright laws there. That's it. Yeah, I can see where that's coming from then. Ah, Swift Violet. And I use me Ascend. Yes. I can see where they're coming. I can see it there. Like I said, I don't agree with it, but I can agree with it. No, sorry. No, I've just completely destroyed my own point. I can see where I don't agree with it, but I can see where they're coming from with it. Yeah, that comes down to a cultural thing of two different countries. You've got the West versus the East, and you've got different ways you handle things. So that's, yeah, okay. But there we go. So, well. It is a minefield, it's a pain in the neck, and it is what it is. But at least they make good games. They destroy... I don't like the direction they've taken where they've taken Zelda with this game, but I certainly do like their games. Super Mario Wonder's been absolutely fantastic. Haven't finished it yet. Have nowhere near finished it. Really should get back to playing it, actually, if I'm perfectly honest. So I'll give a minute. Right. Nintendo sucks at understanding the modern world. Yes, but you have to remember that with Japan, they are about 10 years behind the West. That's not any sort of derogatory thing, by the way, before anyone tries to say anything. That is very much a case of, look at the smoking bans. The West brought in the smoking bans, and Nintendo followed 10 years after. It's more of a case, it's less of a case, it's basically a case of overcautiousness. After the bubble burst, Japan ended up in the Black Decade or something. I forget the official name, but it was basically a case that Japan is very risk averse. They are not going to make sweeping radical changes just in case. So, yeah, it's one of those things. Look at the internet in Japan. Japanese websites aren't particularly brilliantly made. Though I must admit, they are changing. There are a few Japanese websites I've come across which are actually running better than what you would have seen in the 90s. How many Swift Violets do I need? I don't remember. Ba, ba, ba. 60, apparently. Wait, what? 3, 6, no. Oh, wait, no. 10, 20, 30. No. 60? Oh, well, yeah, no, I'll need 60 by the end. Never mind, ignore me, because, yeah, I'm not up to where I need to be. Okay, fine. Smoking doesn't help me anyway, unless it's CBD for people with health problems and kids think it's cool to smoke. Yeah, but that's thanks to media for a lot of things, I think. Well, that and peer pressure. I've never really smoked. Tried the occasional cigarette and cigar, but yeah, it's never really appealed to me. Oh, there's a Korok there. Hello, Mr. Korok. Bye, Mr. Korok. Ow. Oh, that hurt. Oh, okay, that works. Right, there must be a better way than me jumping up and down here like a moron. Can I use the Ultra Hand? Yes. That's a bit... Yeah, well, I'll have to do. Nope. Thanks, Tulin. There's only one thing I don't like about this game, and it's the fact that you still can't have max health and stamina at the same time. My ADHD does not like that. But it's a small thing. Oh, there are many things I dislike about this game. Mostly to do with the lore, to be honest. I just don't like the way they've just basically disregarded most of the lore and tried to just gloss over it. And the fact that it doesn't really feel like a sequel because it's not really built off the previous game. Most of Hyrule has amnesia when it comes to you. But yeah, I get why they've done the whole, oh well, you have to choose between full stamina or full heart, and it's probably because it's so you don't end up completely deprecating the stamina meals and bonus health meals, so you can still get extra hearts, and they don't have to code a way around it. I think, but whatever. It's a weird design choice, but it is what it is. Yeah, the lore in this game is pretty weak. It mostly destroyed most of the previous lore. Okay. Oh, there we go. I don't like a lot of it. I love... The Zora, once again, have proven the stronger group, to be honest. Oh, come on. Oh, this is such a pain. $20. Marvellous. Many more to go. Right, I'll have to dish them out in a minute. I know the developers commented on that, and they said the reason they did the story this way was so you technically didn't have to play Breath of the Wild, apparently, to understand what was happening. But still, I think they could have handled it a bit better. Yeah, they could have. They could have gone the complete opposite direction. They could have treated the game very much they could have treated it as they've assumed that you've done every story in Breath of the Wild. They don't have to assume. They don't have to assume you've done everything, and they can still have NPCs who don't know who you are because obviously the world's a bit bigger. But they could have assumed that you've done every sub-story and every stable and every main story, because then all the characters will know who you are, and you'll meet another character out there in the world, and you might think, "Oh, I wonder what happened with this in the previous game," and then you go play the previous game. And if you don't play the previous game, that's fine. You can fill it in with context in the character bios or something. That's a good way, I think, of doing it, because then it makes it flows a bit better. They could have also built on the world. 5 years or something have passed between Breath of the Wild and this game. So if you're going to rebuild, how about setting up some new towns, like new settlements, like Tarry Town, out there in the wild? Make it look like you're trying to rebuild. Also, put in a royal guard rather than the monster control crew. Make it look like some things have changed between the periods between this game and the previous one. But they didn't, because this game is very much feels like it was built it was originally started as DLC for Breath of the Wild, and it feels like a DLC for Breath of the Wild. Forgetting everyone having spontaneous bouts of amnesia, the world feels like it hasn't really moved on. It also feels like they've got rid of the Sheikah stuff. I think they've got rid of the Sheikah stuff to make more room in memory for things to, happen. But is it saying there's something above me? Oh, there is. They've made room in the memory for things. They've made room in the memory for everything else, and they got rid of the Sheikah stuff. But the Sheikah stuff could have easily been a story DLC, unraveling the mystery of where the Sheikah technology disappeared to. Tie in something with the Divine Beasts, or have the Divine Beasts still around. So even if the shrines and towers have evaporated, then you could at least say, well, here's the Divine Beast. Or keep the Shrine of Resurrection. But no, we don't get any of that. We get just empty. I can understand the empty world for Breath of the Wild, because it's after a great calamity and the world's still being assaulted by the evils of Ganon after 100 years, and that's going to take its toll on things. But in this one, the calamity's over. Ganon's been killed. So, yeah. There are many, many different ways they could have done it, and hindsight's always 20/20, but still. You don't know what was going on in the studios when they were making this game, but it still feels like a lot was left. Missed out and cut. I think they could have probably done a more justice if they just started a completely new game in a different world. But, well. It is what it is. It is what it is. Right. Swift violets. There's some. It's funny, because they were kind of on their way to connecting the two games at the beginning, where Link is maxed out, and then he becomes weakened by Ganon, and they just gave up after that. Yeah, pretty much. Also Ganon, that's another thing, we don't really see much of him. We see him in flashbacks, but you would have thought we would have at least seen his presence a bit more in the world. But we don't. He basically is mummified at the start, and then we'll just run into him for the final boss fight. No sort of connecting modern-day cutscene or anything. I know in previous games like Ocarina, you don't see a lot of Ganondorf, but you see bits of him. Yeah, you don't. You see him in some flashbacks. And once again, I will die on the hill of maintaining that the flashbacks should have, if anything, been playable Zelda segments. instead of what we got, which was pretty naff, to be honest, and disjointed and didn't make much sense. It's just the memories from Breath of the Wild all over again, only this time starring Zelda, running around having her jollies in the past. With one of her ancestors who's, I suppose, some sort of relation to the goddess Hylia. And Rauru, who was the first king of Hyrule all of a sudden. Oh. Ganondorf appears when you meet Child Zelda until she gets away on the horse until the end. No, well, no. Well, wait. When do you see Ganon? You see Ganondorf in the intro cutscene with Zelda in the garden, flying through the window. Then you see him on the drawbridge after he's killed the king. Then you see him in the cutscene in the Temple of Time. And then that's kind of it. But at the same time, you do feel a sense of... You feel a sense of his power and him taking over the world, and he's this great evil. They did a good job of getting the feeling of him being a threat down. In this game, he's basically... He turns up and then he buggers off. And that's it. You don't see much of him. It's just, it's sort of tokenist, really. It kind of feels like they've included Ganondorf for the sake of saying, look, here is Ganondorf, when in actual fact, there's only part of it. I think Skyward Sword is the best Zelda games in terms of storytelling. Ooh. Now, ooh. You don't know, I'm still a sucker for Twilight Princess. Because Twilight Princess brought a lot to it. It brought a continuation of Ocarina's storyline, and it built out the world. It built into the lore of the Golden Goddesses and the tribes of Hyrule. It brought in the Twilight. I don't know. I'd put Twilight Princess above Skyward Sword. I get what you mean. Skyward Sword had a good story. I don't like the fact that... yeah, even with the goddess Hylia, they didn't gloss over the Golden Goddesses. They still had their powers in the form of the flames that tempered the Master Sword. It wasn't by Hylia's power that the Master Sword became the Blade of Evil's bane. It was by the powers of the Golden Goddesses, as well as the final blessing of Hylia. So, yeah. Yeah, okay, yes. You know what? Skyward Sword is still leagues above this game. We played Skyward Sword after Breath of the Wild, I think. And it was like night and day. It had a full soundtrack. I preferred the more linear stuff. The temples felt more flashed out. It was just, yeah. 38. God damn it. We've still got more to find. CPU is the best in terms of gameplay. Story is challenging to judge which is the best. For that. But I am now lost for Swift Violets. That's important. The only thing I don't like about Skyward Sword is the backtracking they make you do. I don't remember that. It's been a while, but I don't remember the backtracking being too egregious. The thing I disliked about Skyward Sword, and it was just a fundamental thing of the gimmick of the game when they put it together, was the controls. I can't say I was a massive fan of the whole waggly, swordy tech, especially considering they made it right hand only. But I can also understand why they made it right hand only. But even when they switched it to controller, it was an improvement, but I don't know. It would have still been a much better game if they kept with the traditions of it. Where the dickens are these Swift Violets? I assume they're on that mushroom there. Controls were cool for the Wii, but you needed motion plus, which I could never find. I You got the... I've still got it, actually. I've got me gold Zelda control for Skyward Sword with the inbuilt motion plus. Oh, come on, Link. There we go. Yeah. There we go. There's another. Right. Yeah, that works. Not all of them. That's all. 43. God damn it. Oh, right, give me a minute. Da-da. Oh, let the hunt continue. The mighty hunt for the swift violet. So that's a Hinox. Do I want to fight a Hinox? No, I don't really want to fight a Hinox. I've fought enough Hinoxes. The Hinox can go away. He is a silly thing. Water, you fool! Cheers, Ghost. I think I've ran out of swift violet. Oh dear. Oh, wait a minute. Ah, oh yes, I forgot the Master Sword's back. I'll fix the Master Sword in a minute. Gear. We are working on the climbing gear, right? So... That's the 4-star, that's the 4-star, that's the 3-star. So I still need to get to 4-star. Blast. Minute. The game makes you wonder where they're going with the gonna go next to the next title. Well, they've already said that they want to move away from this world, so you never know. Right, I do need the Swift. Oh, piffle. Right, okay. Oh, Fire Keys wings. No, I've got enough Fire Keys wings. Do I have enough hot-footed frogs? No, I don't have enough hot-footed frogs either. But I do need Ice Keys wings, which I do have enough of, I think. Okay, how many hot-footed frogs have I got? Got 11. Oh, right, yes, because I've won the other two. Also, I need to desperately step away for a moment, so I shall. So, be right back. Don't go away. And I'm back. Huzzah. Right, so, where are we up to? I'm still looking for the Swift Pilot. Oh, this is weird. I don't need the dungeon map. I've been so used to having the dungeon map on the other screen for all of this, and now that I don't quite need it anymore. Right, so... Could keep looking for Swift Violets, or we could wait until they respawn. I think I've probably hit my limits here. Oh, I've got the travel medallion. Hey, what? Let's sort this. So, we will throw down a travel medallion here. That works. While it's storming. I will then quickly switch Link to his cold weather gear, and we will go and do some moose farming as soon as I've nipped to Kakarako, actually, and bought some more arrows. Where's the thing to Kakarako? There it is. Right. Oh, that could have been nasty.
Ah.
Oh, please.
Ma. Oh.
And I'll take both of these as well, so that gives me another 10.
Ah.
160. Yeah, I'll probably do. Thank you, bye. Oh yeah, the Master Sword's back. Right, I think that's some Gloom Hand. Okay, right. Changed my mind. Let's switch back to our normal gear. And we are quickly going to nip to... Where is it? There it is. Here. I want to pick up another demon bow. Because they are quite good for farming. Even if I put 120 damage, 1,200 damage into the back of a bear and it still wouldn't die. Ah, I'm underground. Wait. What? Oh, no, there they are. They just unloaded in. I was a bit too quick for the game. There we go. Before the Talus wakes up. Oh, right, yes, fusion. The sooner I get past the point of... Oh! All my White Lionel stuff's gone. Oh, blimey, I must have had only just enough for that for the Barbarian set. Oof. Right, 129. I suppose it's only -1 damage. Let's see what fuse... I must have done it at some point. Let's fuse a Stalnox Horn to the Master Sword. Sacrilegious as it feels, but there we go. And then go and try and murder some evil hands. Let's switch to a different bow as well. Or not. There was supposed to be Gloom Hands here, right? I distinctly remember fighting some Gloom Hands here. Oh, look! I found the Gloom Hands. Oh dear. This might end badly. This might work. This is probably going to end badly, isn't it? Not as badly as I thought it might have, actually. Where's the Phantom Cannon? Where's the big angry thing with the bow and the smashy smash? It just gave me the dark clumps and that was it. Oh. Right, okay, let's go somewhere else then. This seems to be a silly place. There were Gloom Hands down here.